When I say life is so, like, man, we be making some dumb ass fucking decisions. It's like I know I gotta keep my baby and I gotta do what's the best and I just gotta live, but like, I just. Fuck. That's the worst shit in the world, bro. Bringing another baby into this life without having a fucking husband. I don't know why I'm doing this again. I fucking can't do it. God, I can't do it.
When I speak to other women, there's usually a disconnect. There's a lack of understanding for cause and effect. And not just women, other people, but I mostly speak to women. But there is a lack of understanding for the cause and the consequences of their actions because they devoid themselves of personal responsibility. Everything is happening to them, but they've never done anything or made any choices that will benefit them. At a very young age, I grasped the concept of personal responsibility. At the end of the day, nobody is responsible for the outcome of my life and my actions but myself. Personal responsibility is the act of taking ownership of one's own actions, choices, emotions, and their subsequent consequences rather than blaming external factors. Okay. It involves accountability for one's life path, health, and behavior, fostering self awareness and control. It implies proactively meeting obligations and ensuring personal conduct aligns with personal goals. And I understand in a sense because most of us are not taught to develop our sense of agency. We're conditioned in that way that leads to us being a non participant in our own lives. But I encourage other people to break away from that way of thinking. Because if you accept anything, you'll get anything. If you don't decide for yourself, other people will decide for you. And no, the other party will not take what benefits you into account. Or if you're a slave to your carnal urges. When people say life is so hard, and especially in this case, from what I've seen a lot of the times, it's them being the architect of their own demise. You made a series of decisions, regardless of how you feel, what mind frame you were in, that got you up to this point. And I'm starting to think this is a form of self harm, of self sabotage. Because if you knew this is not what you wanted for your life and for yourself, why did you do it? Okay, we're in 2026. This lady is 31 years old, single, and pregnant with an unwanted, unplanned pregnancy with two kids prior. We know what it takes to bring a child into the world. We know what it takes to get pregnant. We know all the forms of birth control out there. You made a series of decisions that caused you to conceive this child, and now you're crying on TikTok saying life is life and oh, I don't know why God did this to me. It's God's will. And if you did not want this child, there are options out there for you to nip this in the bud. And the disconnect that I have with most women is typically because I don't coddle people. I have empathy. I have sympathy for certain situations. But at the end of the day, I ask, what are you going to do? And they'll look at me like, do? Yeah, what are you going to do about your situation? And that's where it kind of goes left. People will tell me I'm mean, I'm cruel, I'm judgmental. I don't understand what they're going through. But I understand what happens when you don't develop a sense of accountability, a sense of personal responsibility, the type of sad life you'll have if everything just happens to you and you don't do anything. It's everyone else's fault or responsibility but yours for why you are the way you are or where you are.
So hey, I'm Millie. I'm 31. I'm single and I'm pregnant. The pregnancy was unplanned and unwanted, but we are working through it. So today I just wanted to share something kind of personal, little thought in my head about how I've been feeling about this whole situation. Okay, so the guy, right, the other parent, is so crazy because he was never my partner. I knew he could not be my partner, right? We're at two different seasons in life, and he's just not at a season where he wants the same things I want, and it's okay. So I shouldn't even been doing the thing with him, but I was. But anyway, it's like I know that I don't want him, but since I'm carrying his child, it's like a part of me feels like I do, like what's happening, and then like I want him to act a certain way like I feel like he should be acting, because I feel like that's what I deserve for my pregnancy and my baby. That's the whole reason I wanted to wait till marriage, and that's the whole reason I told God after I did it that last time with him, I'm never doing it again until I have a husband, because I didn't want to go through a pregnancy where it wasn't the way I wanted. Because if I would be having this baby with my partner, my husband, we're aligned and we're equally yoked by God, I wouldn't be in this dilemma right now. He would absolutely be doing all the things, calling and checking on me every day, taking me on surprise dates, rubbing my feet, rubbing my belly, sending me flowers, all the things. And it's like, this person is irritating my soul, like it is on fire, but I'm not stressed, and I'm not really, I'm just saying like right now directly like how I'm kind of feeling, but I'm not really that mad about the situation continuously. Like just a little bit I'll think about it and then I feel how I just said, but I'm not feeling like that all day about the person, because I keep them off of my mind, like screw you. But I say all that to say like, dang, that is so crazy, you know? Yeah, I get what I'm saying. That is so crazy, because it's like I feel like you should very much be doing these things. And like I told him, you know, because we had a disagreement, I'm like, you know, I blocked him or whatever, and I'm like, I feel like you don't even have to come to the other appointment, because I feel like you really don't want to be there, and I don't want to be dealing with nothing where I feel like I'm forcing a person's hand, which is odd because he wants this baby, he wants to be in his baby's life and all the things, but why are you not doing the things that I feel like you should be doing that lets me know that? Am I tripping?
Yes, you are tripping.
I'm not, right? And I know some people will be like, well, he doesn't have to do what you want him to do to show that he wants to be in the baby's life. No, but he should be doing just general things. Like, my whole paycheck shouldn't be going on food, because this baby wants all these odd different things that my other two kids never wanted and never craved. I didn't have any cravings from my other two pregnancies. Your child is calling me all these cravings. You should be, or should he not? I'm done with it.
Black women, women, period, people of the world, everybody, I just want better for y'all than this. I really do. And people will call me judgmental for that, because I want better for you than whatever situation this is, this dysfunctional, unnecessary, completely avoidable situation. And I can't stand when God is brought into things to remove the accountability or the responsibility for the choice a person made. It was out of my control. It was God's will. God made this happen. My idea of God is quite different from what the average person thinks God is. I do believe some things were written and meant to be, but I also do believe God has given most of us the self determination, the awareness to observe ourselves and make a change in our lives for the better. And she's saying she asked God to give her a husband the next time she has a child. And yet, you enter into a sexual relationship with someone you don't even like, someone you don't even respect, someone who, quote unquote, irritates your soul. This is my problem with the whole casual sex pandemic, epidemic culture that they try to push on you guys. Why are you sharing your body, the most intimate part of yourself, with a person you don't even like, never loved, never valued or cherished, who was never your partner, and you proceed to have unprotected casual encounters with this person, which leads to you conceiving an unwanted, unplanned child? It seems very planned to me, but it's unplanned to them. A child is not a toy. A child, a new life, a new soul is not a toy. It isn't just a oh whoopsie doopsie, like especially in 2026. Very intentional to have a child. I know some birth control methods can fail regardless of that. And she keeps talking about what she deserves, what she should have, and clearly you didn't think you deserved to have sex with someone you actually liked, and yet you participated in the act of something that you believe you don't deserve. The cognitive dissonance there of saying, I deserve this, and doing the opposite. If this wasn't what you wanted, then why did you do it? Y'all know a child can feel when they're unwanted, right? They can feel when they're a burden. Children are very perceptive in that way. Imagine if she's the type of baby mama to say, "Oh, your daddy ain't ish, your daddy ain't that." The child is going to know. They're gonna feel that, oh, my mommy thinks my daddy ain't ish. So I must not be worth ish if I came from my daddy. You see how that works? And she's saying, I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to. I don't live in could or should land, okay? I don't live in what ifs and what could be's and what should be's. That's a disconnect I also have with women as well. This is what it is. Like girls will talk to me saying, I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to. Regardless of how you feel, this is what it is. So, what are you going to do? I remember I was talking to this girl who was like a casual acquaintance, and she was having problems with this guy she was seeing, and she was forcing the connection, trying so hard to make it work. And for what? I don't know. This guy was no good. And I remember sitting there, she ranted to me for 30 minutes straight. She ranted for 30 minutes straight, saying all the terrible things he's doing to her, how he's stalking her, checking her location, and seeing who she's talking to, and this and that, and how she could leave right now and go find a guy that presses all the right buttons on her body, and this and that, and didn't take a breath for 30 minutes. And at the end of all that, I said, okay, so what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to see him tonight in about a couple hours. Okay, you got it, girl. You got it. I'm not here to lie to you guys. There are beautiful parts of life that I believe should be explored, yes. And there are some very necessary, very ugly things about life that should be discussed as well, because I'm not going to lie to you. We talk about both the light and the dark. And I don't coddle people. Now, I do believe things can be handled with empathy and a gentleness, a softness, but most people don't respond to softness. Sometimes you literally have to tell them what it is. And you can tell this woman that we're speaking about here on this episode has never been taught the concept of personal responsibility, the concept of accountability. You've had two previous children unmarried, and somehow on this third, you're just like, I just don't understand what I'm doing wrong. I just don't know. Life is lifing. You're saying this man is irritating your soul, and yet you're proceeding with the pregnancy of having this child. And she's saying, I shouldn't have to do this on my own, or he should be taking me on surprise dates. That's that would be if he was your partner, ma'am. Okay, this man, y'all never were together. Y'all never were romantic. You actually hate him. So why should he go out of his way to do that for you? Regardless, yes, this is his child and he should care for it. I wholeheartedly agree. This is a child he had a hand in making. It takes two to tango. But all that little extra stuff, he's not going to do it. I don't see why you're expecting that from him. He clearly doesn't even want this child for real. He'll probably send you a few dollars every month, get it some milk, some diapers, and clothes and stuff, and probably just leave it at that. I don't know. Calling and checking on you, rubbing your belly, sending you flowers. Ladies, stop being so confused. Oh my God. Stop it. The lines being blurred between casual encounters, romantic relationship expectations, marriage expectations. The lines when it comes to this dating world have become so blurred that so many of you do not even know what you want, and you develop this cognitive dissonance of you should be doing this but I'm going to do that, and you should be doing this but I don't even actually like you but you should be doing it. Stop it. And I'm so tired of children, new souls living beings brought into the world as a result of these dysfunctional situations. I'm tired of it. I remember when I used to volunteer tutoring kids a few years ago in math and science, and I was tutoring this little girl who was years behind where she was supposed to be. And my friend, who was also volunteering, she tutored her sister, who was also woefully behind in her development. We sent home homework because that's how far behind they were. They would come back to tutoring and not do the homework. And I would be like, well, why didn't you do the homework? They said, well, mommy needed me to clean up the house with her, so I didn't do my homework. And I'm like, huh? So I sent home a note and I was like, hey, Miss Lady, your children are very far behind. This is serious. If we're going to make some progress, I need your cooperation in this. And she comes back and she's like, hey, yeah, I know. I told my kids to help me clean the house instead of doing the homework. But I am also pregnant, so I'm going to need their help. And I'm like, you're pregnant? Your kids can barely read. They can barely identify shapes. They can barely write, barely count. And all this just to get pregnant and make another child that's probably not going to get the care they need? People ask me, when am I going to push out a baby? I have nothing to offer one. And I mean that in the sense of I haven't lived my own life to the fullest yet. I haven't even built the empire that I want a child to inherit yet. I just know that emotionally, I have nothing to offer a child right now. And what's the rush? And I do better for myself than the people in my hometown with 5 kids. And I know the gravity of the consequences, despite whatever circumstances I may be in, to bring a child into this world. If I were to have a child, everything stops for that child. So the child can be the best it can be. And I find it so funny how how TikTok has made people so comfortable to bring their stories to the front and present it as if they are not also culpable in the situation that they are currently in. Oh, it's the other person, it's the other person, it's the other person. Story time. I'm 31, single, and pregnant with an unplanned, unwanted baby. And this guy, it's all his fault. It's all life's fault. Life is life. And am I tripping? Yes, you are tripping. And of course, you'll always have a group of enablers in the comment section, uplifting, quote unquote, and supporting her. I wish her and this baby the best. But some things cannot be condoned. And now you see she's building an audience. I'm 31, single, and pregnant on my pregnant journey. Oh, sis, I'm pregnant with a unwanted baby. I'm single too. Oh, sis, yeah, let's rally around you, sis. There'll be plenty of birds in that flock. And I've known so many people who inspire me to be the opposite of who they are now. It's this person's fault why I'm here. It's this outside external force's fault as to why I'm doing this now. No, I can't make a different choice because of ABC. This isn't what I want, but I'll do it anyway. And like I said, regardless of how you may feel or what led you to make a choice in this situation, you made a series of choices that got you to this destination. You're wondering why your life is up in flames around you. But this person who chose this life and set it all ablaze was you. You are the architect of your own demise. And I refuse that kind of life for myself. But hey, how are y'all doing? I couldn't pop up last week because I got my hair braided and that took about 11 hours and that took up my whole entire recording day. They're blonde box braids. They're like waist length, butt length ish. I was asked to be a hair model and I kind of just jumped at the opportunity. So I couldn't pop up last week. And I looked up, I was like, when was my last episode? 2 weeks ago. I was like, oh no. I thought it was 3 days ago. But anyway, as always, I love you dearly. Make good decisions. I'm never going to steer you in the wrong direction. It's a hard world out there. If you accept anything, then you'll get anything. Life is beautiful, but there's also many hardships. Don't make it harder than it has to be by putting yourself in these dysfunctional, fucked up situations that other people put themselves in. Rise above your conditioning. If you are here, it is because you're capable of rising above your conditioning and what you were taught and aspire to more. What do you guys have to say? Have you risen above your conditioning? Do you have the self determination to make the life you truly desire and not just accept or settle for dysfunctional scraps? Be vividly vocal in the comments. As always, Vividly Vocal is available on all podcast platforms, and I post on TikTok at Vividly Vocal every day. I haven't been able to do the face cam recently on the last few episodes, but if you want to see my face, my beautiful face, go to TikTok at Vividly Vocal. Once again, I love you guys, vixens and visionaries. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other. Do what you need to do. Be the best you. And I will see you very soon, okay? Bye bye.